Well, thank you very much. As you just heard, I am J.D. Lambright. I see a lot of familiar faces around the room. I think this is about my 8th meeting of this group that I've attended over the last few months. I was the first one to announce publicly I was running for County Court 2 back in August, and then I was the first one to file. So I think that shows you I'm serious about this, and we have taken it dead serious from day one. Let me take just a few minutes, and I'm not going to talk for 15 because I know we'd like to hear from the audience out there. But I think it's important you get to know a little about us, and I learned that during early voting especially. I was out there from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for the entire 2 weeks, except when I had to run to court and take care of business, and was out there all day long on election day. First off, I would like to thank all of you here in the room and the voters around the county. I came in first during the primary election, somewhere between 1,800 and 1,900 vote lead in that. I sincerely appreciate that very much. We worked hard and could not be done without people like yourselves here. But it's a new race now, and there are just 2 of us, so it's kind of like starting all over. Another thing I would like to say, I don't think any of the other ladies that I was running against, I had 3 very nice young ladies I'm running against. I know all of them. I respect all of them. They're very fine attorneys. Our race was a very clean race, a very above-board race, and I knew it would be from day one when I saw who was in the race, because we all knew each other. And I would congratulate them and urge you to do the same when you see the other people in the race. So, a little bit about me to get you acquainted with me a bit. I'm a native Texan. My wife and I, she's also a native Texan, my wife Belinda. And in fact, if I may, I don't know if y'all want to pass some cards around or not. Here's some cards that'll tell you a whole lot about just kind of a quick summary of things I'm going to tell you tonight, and some of it you may have heard before. I was born and raised in a little town of Pampa, up in Pampa, Texas. My wife was also born and raised in Pampa, Texas. Her picture is on the card there. She was out there with me every one of those days at early voting, and also on election day. She would be here with me tonight. We have not relatives, longtime friends from high school days coming in from Plano. Supposed to get here about 7:30 tonight, so she's home awaiting their arrival. I think that'll tell you a lot about what we think about family values. We just celebrated our 34th wedding anniversary last New Year's Eve. And we hold that very dear to us. We are both retirees from Shell Oil Company. I've got a master's degree in electrical engineering from Texas Tech. I graduated with a bachelor's from Tech in 1972, and then completed my master's in 74 in electrical engineering. That's when I hired on with Shell Oil Company as a geophysicist, and I worked exploration projects throughout the world for the next 25 years. Of those 25 years, roughly 22 of those were in various management roles. I was always headquartered right down the road here a little ways in Houston, but I managed worldwide projects throughout the United States, Alaska, both onshore, offshore, Central America, Southeast Asia, just multi-million-dollar projects all over the world, as well as managing and supervising hundreds and hundreds of people during that time. While I was working for Shell, they ended up sending me to law school, and so I completed my law degree. No lawyers in my family. This isn't some long trend of lawyers. I'm the only one there is. And I finally decided I had a great Shell career. I wanted to do something different. And it really started early on in my college days. I was chosen to sit on a jury in a county court in Lubbock, Texas, where I was going to Tech. It was a shoplifting case, and unfortunately ended up in a hung jury. We just could not agree on it. But that kind of whetted my appetite then for the legal profession. And when I finished my master's degree, shortly before that, I had taken the entrance exam to get into law school. But by the time you've gone to school that long and completed a grueling master's program, I was ready to go to work. I was hungry, needed some money, and so that's what I did. And so I didn't go to law school for quite a number of years. So following my early retirement in 1999, then I opened my own law practice, and I've been doing that for going on 11 years now in downtown Conroe. So I manage my own law firm. I have a paralegal that works for me. So why is any of that important? I think it's extraordinarily important, and people need to realize when you cast your vote, you're hiring a judge. And you may have never been to court before, and I know I heard a lot of people on the campaign trail said, well, I don't really think that's real important because I'm never going to be in court. Well, you never know. You, your neighbor, your children, whomever may find yourself in court. And I'll explain to you why there's a high likelihood you could find yourself in this court someday, County Court of Law number 2. A judge has just incredible powers. In many cases, a judge has powers even the President of the United States doesn't have. The judge of this court, and in most of our courts, can take your property and give it to someone else. Can take your money, your assets, and award those to somebody else. He can even take your children, in the right kind of case, and give someone else custody of your children. That's why I think all of this, what I call real world, real life experiences, dealing with people on a daily basis on projects all over the world. It's not as though I've just got some kind of degree in finance or something like that, which I don't have a degree in finance, but I've lived that and I've done that for 25 years. I've lived it and done it for the last 11, running my own law practice. I have to manage my own budget, manage my own staff. And that's important, because you think about it. Everybody takes the bench in this race. Who is the boss of a judge? Who does a judge report to? There's not some supervisor who's going to come in and make sure you're doing your job right. Every 4 years, you people in the room and the rest of the voters around Montgomery County will decide has that person done a good job or not. So I think you need somebody who has the depth and breadth of experience. It's not just the years of experience, it's the kind of those experiences, the nature of those experiences. A lot of people told me on the campaign trail, something they appreciated that I had, the word seasoning was used. I had never used that word in that sense before. Gray behind the ears maybe is another way to look at it. Some of these things just take time, and you learn how to deal with people, because when you take the bench, you're trying to solve people's problems, not create problems and bring problems into the court. So I urge you to think about that, and that's why I think my 36 years of overall experience are extraordinarily important. And that's roughly 4 times the experience my opponent has. In terms of what does this court do? A lot of people have asked me, I just talked to a very nice gentleman about that back here, what in the world does County Court of Law number 2 do? Let me tell you about that.